Hello and welcome to the Pet Healer Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Mitzi Vargas, and today is a special day. We passed our 100th episode a little bit ago, and now we have a new home. And so our recordings are going to be in a new studio, and so I'm very excited. Still under construction, so for our people that are watching and YouTube, might not look like much right now, but we got stuff in the making, so it's gonna look really good. And it wouldn't be possible for us to grow as we've grown without your support. So please subscribe, share with your friends. If there's an episode in particular that you like, just cut pieces of it and share it in your social media. I really would love it if you could help us raise the awareness that there's alternative medicine for your pets out there. So be an ambassador for the Pet Healer. I really appreciate it. So there's going to be in the future many interviews with different kinds of people that are so interesting. They are pushing some supplements or some special foods or stuff that really aligns with our belief that there are many ways to heal, and a lot of them by foods, by natural supplements, by acupuncture, and by herbals. So there are many ways to heal, chiropractic and other modalities that we try to expose here in our show. But there's a lot out there, some good, some bad. So we're going to try to showcase the good stuff. So with that said, let's go to the topic of today. And it's in the news, it's everywhere. A lot of people are freaking out because of the monkeypox virus. And as pet owners and pet lovers, we tend to worry, could I get it from my pet or could I give it to my pet? And I'm here to answer some of the questions. And if I didn't get to your concerns, please reach out to us in all the platforms. You can reach us at the Pet Healer podcast website or the Facebook page. And if you haven't liked that one, like it, or any of the platforms. So we'll be happy to listen to you and to help you out. But monkeypox is a zoonotic disease. And what that means is we can give it to the pets can give it to us. Not as particularly effective as the coronavirus, because it's not airborne. It has to be contact with the fomites or the fluids of the animals. But it is of concern. I mean, in some people, especially people that are immune compromised, it could really exacerbate some other conditions, and it could be a little bit dicey, but it's usually not fatal, but it's very painful. And so for our people, if you think about monkeypox in people, you think about lesions in the skin, rashes and ulcers, and just very painful skin lesions, fever, and something like that. But in pets, the rash may or may not be there. Some of the pet cases that have been, shared in social media or in some of the better journals and articles in good scientific magazines have exposed, and particularly in a case with a dog, that yes, they can have monkeypox and there might be a rash associated with it, but not necessarily the pustules and the ulcers that we see with people. And so it's more of general malaise, like fever, lethargy, the pet's not moving around, there's, they're not eating, they're off. So it has not been reported in cats, but it's been reported in multiple mammals. As a matter of fact, the little mammals, rodents and other little mammals in West Africa, that's how they tend to be the reservoir. So the virus, which is an orthopox virus, lays dormant in these little reservoirs of mammals, and then they get into the houses, and then that's how people got it. So the original monkeypox they call it monkeypox because they saw the lesions in the non-human primates in West Africa. And then, of course, with contact with the people, being zoonotic, then people develop the same sort of lesions as the monkeys did. And in the United States, I don't know if you have a good memory or if you were around or reading papers in 2003, but I remember clearly because I do take care of exotic mammals and little pocket pets, and I have spay and neuter a prairie dog or two and taking care of them as pets. Not myself, but I mean for my clients. And I remember in 2003 where there was an outbreak in the Midwest from some prairie dogs, and they suspected that it was, I believe it was some pet shop material that had been transferred from West Africa, and it had the contaminant in it, the virus in it. And so the prairie dog population took a hit. A lot of people that keep prairie dogs as pets developed the disease. I think it was 47. Yeah, I wrote it down to remember. 47 human cases in six states, all related to the pet trade business and imports from West Africa. And so it has happened here. Again, 47 people is not the millions that have been affected by COVID, but it is significant and it is of concern. So like I said before, in cats, we haven't had any cases, but in dogs, there's a specific case that was written up and some suspicious thing. So what happens if you get monkeypox? My advice is if you have pets to either have somebody board the pets out of the house for the 2 weeks that you're going to be, well, actually 21 days is the infectious state. So unfortunately, it's 3 weeks. So have an arrangement to somebody to take care of your pets for that time. If that is impossible, then I recommend that you take very good care in isolating from your pets. So let's say you have 2 rooms. One room is going to be for your dogs or cats or birds or whatever you have, and you're going to take care of them in there. I would recommend to obviously wear protective equipment, being gown or any kind of disposable materials like gloves or even a mask, and just go in there and service the poor animals and then get out. You might not feel that great, and you might not feel like taking care of the pets. So what else can you do? Well, if you cannot isolate from them, then at least wash your hands and don't sleep with them, because that will decrease the amount of fomites or secretions that you will get in contact with. The opposite way, like the pet giving it to you, I really don't think that will be a big concern. If you take your dog to the dog park, or if you take your dog to groomers or the veterinarian, I don't think that they're going to get enough opportunity and contact with an infected animal there to have it. So the main concern is human to pet, not pet to human. Could that happen? Yes, it could, but the pet has to have the symptoms like the rash or just a high fever or just something like that where it says that they're fighting the virus. Now, from the natural homeopathic standpoint of view, we can do a lot to raise our energy, to raise our Wei Qi. The Wei Qi is the defensive Qi, the one that is in the exterior. This would be an exterior pathogen, right? It's a fomite. It's a damp outside trying to come in. So to raise our Wei Qi, we can use herbs like Wei Qi Booster, which is a great herb. It's an anti-cancer, antiviral, is a great herb. And somebody have asked me if we could do J Screen 8, because when the coronavirus was going around and people would get sick, they would call me and ask me if they could use something to protect their pets from getting the coronavirus. And, although the chances, their immune system's better than ours, and they could get coronavirus as well. but I would recommend J screenate, which is a great herbal that prevents respiratory diseases. But J screenate for this would not be appropriate. Wei Qi booster would be probably more appropriate because it's a very potent antiviral herb, and you can use it yourself and your pets and try to stay, strong. The strong Wei Qi will repel any external pathogen. What else can you do food-wise? Well, increase your consumption of vitamin C. Where is it? Is in fresh fruits and vegetables, right? You need to get it from the whole foods. That's where the natural immunity is. I say mushrooms. Mushrooms are great immune system boosters, anti-cancer, antiviral, and especially reishi mushrooms. You can definitely get them in capsules, or just be a little bit more creative with your food as you're preparing it, and add some more mushrooms. The uptake should be up. And you can share with your pets. There's nothing wrong with doing, some mushrooms, the legal ones, and saute or prepare and put it in your pet's food. It definitely will raise up. And remember sunlight. Sunlight will take care of all the fomites. So if you spend your time outdoors, or enough time outdoors, and you get your vitamin D is essential. So the funny thing is, we think about vitamin D and the COVID, and there's a big correlation with the people that have severe symptoms or long COVID, and they been, when they were investigated, they had lower levels of vitamin D than those that, got the COVID and got over it very quickly. So I think that we can assume dogs and cats are little people with fur coats, and we can get a little bit of increased vitamin D by sunlight, taking them outdoors and have a little bit more sunlight with them. If you want to have your pet's vitamin D level checked, that is definitely possible. And if we would see lower levels, that's the only time that I recommend to do supplementation. Why? Because vitamin D is not water soluble like vitamin B or C. It is fat soluble. So it stays in the fat. It can concentrate in excessive amounts, and it can cause a problem. So definitely we can check the vitamin Ds for your pets if you're interested, but I wouldn't supplement unless indicated. So I hope that you learned a couple of things. I hope that I put your mind at ease that this monkeypox virus, although there's some concern, is mostly human to pet transmission that we would be concerned about. And then there's ways around it. And that is 21 miserable days away from your pet, but you can recover, and they'll be so happy to see you, and they'll be safe. So if you have any questions, like I said in the intro, don't hesitate. We're here to help. And thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our newer studio shows that are going to come out from the Pet Healer Podcast.